I think we can all agree when I say this, but perpetual dexes are becoming dime a dozen. Now, the interesting thing about competition in a specific niche is that it allows innovation to thrive. Now, which one at the end of the road will be the best? Nobody can say for sure because there's always room for improvement, and Equation is doing just that. The title of this video isn't at all misleading. Industry average when it comes to leveraging right now is about 50x. I'm talking about perpetual dexes. Now, Equation provides you with a 200x. Now, there is a reason why they can do this other than deep liquidity. And of course, one of their main selling points, which we're about to discuss right now. So I'm gonna go about this in regards to what differentiates Equation from what's out there right now, because by now you're probably familiar with how a perpetual dex works. If not, there are videos on this channel that do just that, familiarize you with how they work. All right, so let's talk about the differentiation aspect that this provided us with. So first things first, the biggest one for me at least is something called the BRMM, which is the balanced trade market maker. Now, I'm sure you've heard the term AMM, which is automated market maker. Now, most perpetual dexes today rely on an index of cryptocurrencies to back up the liquidity on their dex. All right, so this is what they rely on, namely GMX with GLP, which has a pool of assets where you can mint GLP with USDC, but now you have exposure to all of these assets. So you don't get to choose which asset you are exposed to, which is fine in most cases because there are mostly blue chips and stable coins. So a person is okay with that. Now, with Equation, it's a bit different. You have exposure to the liquidity pool you want to provide liquidity to. And hence the term balance rate, because balance rate is technically the balance of each liquidity pool that exists. So for the ETH USDC pair, there is an ETH USDC liquidity pool that you are also gonna be entering when you wanna provide liquidity to the platform, namely to that pool. There are other pools, there are so many, all right? So the balance rate is something that is a bit tricky to understand because it can either be 0, bigger than 1, or smaller than 1. So when the balance rate is negative, the rule of thumb here is that when a trader goes long, the underlying LP goes short. So it goes the opposite direction, and vice versa. So when the balance rate is positive, meaning a trader went short, the underlying LP went long. So you see where I'm going with this? If you do the math, the equation, no pun intended, when a trader goes long, the LP goes short, and then the other way around. So at the end of the day, traders will compensate each other, but when there's a gap, there's a balance rate that causes the LP imbalance. Now, the next thing you should understand is that the temporary loss, because it's not an impermanent loss really, because it's an imbalance, a short-term imbalance, is bared at the beginning by something that is called the risk buffer pool. So you can think of it as a pool of money that is out there to bear the unrealized and the realized profit and loss of the LP imbalance for the short term. So as long as there's money there, you're good. You're not a bearer of the temporary loss between quotation mark. All right, so here's the idea behind this. Now, of course, this is offset, like I said, by traders compensating each other, and the funding rate, which is namely something that keeps the contract price and the index price in check. So at the end of the day, that temporary loss will be offset sooner rather than later. So that is the BRMM in a nutshell. So a different type of approach to a perpetual DEX. Now for me though, the most interesting part, and which is the unique selling point that goes after the BRMM, and perhaps for some people tops it, is the position mining and the LP mining. Now, but the position mining is technically you entering a certain position on a certain asset, all right, and earning tokens as long as that position is open. So you open a position, and whilst you are in that open position, you are earning their native asset called EQU. And here's the idea. Because you are trading with Equation and earning that EQU token, you are generating volume, which in turn generates fees that benefits the platform. But I'm getting ahead of myself here. So that's position mining, which is very cool because as a trader, okay, you are using the platform and also benefiting from it. So that is an added value for you as a trader. LP mining is quite common amongst LP farmers overall. So you are providing LP in one of those liquidity pools and you are earning by doing so. Remember, your LP is subject to lock because it can go imbalance and bear a temporary loss for what I've described earlier with the BRMM system. So keep that in mind, all right? But again, the returns are quite lucrative as about now, all right? So I'll show you this in a second. And right now, if I go to the app, actually right now, we can go over all of these things. So if you see, because I went to the earn section, come here, you look at how much of the supply there is, and the current emissions is actually quite high, not gonna lie, right? So 10,000 tokens a day are being emitted because they need to be paid to all of these people. Remember, position mining earns you tokens as long as your position is open. And look at the attractive APRs here. Liquidity mining, you provide liquidity, you earn tokens in return. But I must say, don't mind the APRs, usually they're a bit misleading. What you need to care about is the amount of tokens that are emitted per the liquidity. So that's how much you're getting at the end of the day. And remember when I mentioned the risk buffer pool, this is the bearer of the temporary loss. That's why you have the highest emission in terms of tokens giving to these guys, because they are taking the risk. Because these guys have the most riskiest position on the platform, so you need to compensate them. Now, all of these earn you EQ tokens. You're not earning fees, you're earning EQ tokens. But here is the beauty of it. Here is where everything comes into a beautiful conclusion. You have traders using the platform who are earning EQ tokens, meaning more traders will come here because of the deep liquidity and because they are earning something not only by trading but also through their positions. Now you have people providing liquidity and you have the risk buffer pool. At the end of the day, because there's more volume from traders, and these traders will generate even more volume because they're earning from the platform, so they want to benefit themselves in the process. At the end of the day, you have this whole value capture that goes back into the token. And that's why right now staking EQ earns you 112% in USDT. So that is for me at least, what separates this from the other DEXs. The 200x leverage, sure, of course. The BRMM, sure. But this is, for me, what gives it out as something that would probably be more lucrative for both traders and LP providers. Because at the end of the day, for a native asset to succeed, it has to capture value for its holders. And EQ is doing just that. Yes, it's highly inflatable right now because they want to reach their total supply. I think it's 100 mil. That's a lot. I completely agree. But as long as this wheel is working, as long as traders are using the platform because they want to get this token, because at the end of the day, they want to take part of the fees they are paying, it's like a fee cashback, right? So it's like they're paying X amount of fees, earning those tokens, staking them, and earning that USDT back, earning those fees back. So for me, the wheel should be working well as long as people are using it. I really hope I brought you some value with this. I'll probably be doing more videos on equation. I just wanted to introduce it and to give away what separates this from the others. I gotta say, the nice folks from that platform have given me a link which I will post in the video description. So if you want to trade with them, use it, all right, because there will be commissions on using the referral link. And if you are a trader, do so. Why not? Because you're earning the token, you have deep liquidity that backs you up, and basically you are giving something back by trading using the platform. And everything earned through that deferral link will go back mainly to the community, just FYI. All right, so it's not a chill, it's not a referral link for me to benefit from. It again goes back to you because it's additional. It doesn't take anything from you guys, it's just something on top. And with that, see you in the next one. Have a good one.